Bobby Kennedy continues in front of the Senate. It's going to be quite interesting to see how Republican senators end up voting on it, for him or with him. Let's continue on some of the tape here from Bobby Kennedy's hearing. Let's go to cut 139.
All of these things cannot be true. So, are you lying to Congress today when you say you are pro-vaccine? Or did you lie on all those podcasts?
As you know, because it's been repeatedly debunked, that statement that I made on the Lex Friedman podcast was a fragment of the statement. I said there are no vaccines that are safe and effective, and I was going to continue for every person. Every medicine has people who are sensitive to them, including vaccines.
Right, so
he interrupted me at that point. I've corrected it many times, including on national TV. You know about this, Senator Wyden, so bringing this up right now is dishonest.
Senator Wyden is one of the worst. He is a perfect example of a pharma shill. And to be perfectly honest, he's also putting words into Bobby's mouth. Bobby has never said he's pro-vaccine. He's just said he's not anti-vaccine, and he is in favor of course, some vaccines, but it's actually not the core issue. The core issue is he wants to make vaccines better and safer and more effective. Blake is going to correct me here, but isn't the old Voltaire quote, to find out who's in charge, find out who you can't criticize? To find out who controls you, find out what you can't criticize? Is that Voltaire, or is that wrongly attributed to him? I bet it's wrongly attributed to him. But that is a perfect example. Oh, it was by a neo-Nazi falsely attributed to Voltaire. Thanks, Blake. Always uplifting. That's an uplifting fact check. I disavow. It's still a good line, but I disavow, obviously, the neo-Nazi part. But you can't criticize vaccines. And again, I'm not that interested in the topic, except for the fact that why is it that it's the one thing that you require everybody in the population to have? And obviously there are side effects for some people, not for all people, not even for a lot of people, but a small amount of people. Why is it that we can't ask questions about making them safer? And the media, this is so dishonest. Do we know what outlet this is, by the way? Did we find out? Let's play cut 132 up there. This is in the room where they are writing the articles about and against Bobby Kennedy, where the journalists already have their headlines written. They have the headlines written against Bobby Kennedy before he even uttered a line. This is what they wrote. RFK Jr. faces grilling on anti-vaccine comments and animal mutilation at confirmation hearing, Trump live updates. This is before anything happened. Before anybody said anything, they have their headlines already written. We've always suspected this is the case, but we've actually never seen the smoking gun where journalists just write the headline first and then they fill in the rest. Bobby Kennedy is pro-truth. Wherever the truth will lead him is where he will go. If vaccines are super safe, then why does Big Pharma need liability protection from the government? You're not even allowed to ask these very simple questions. Bobby Kennedy is trying to bring a wrecking ball to the Health and Human Services. It'd be one thing if everyone was super fit in our country. It's one thing if everybody was happy and full of joy. No, but we are a diseased country. We are the sickest we have ever been in our country's history. We're the fattest. We're the sloppiest. And Bobby Kennedy wants to go about fixing that. And one of the things that I really appreciate about Bobby Kennedy, it's a very empowering message. He fundamentally believes that every single person has it within your own free will and your capacity and your agency to be healthier. That you have the capacity to lose weight, to eat better, And what is wrong about trying to search for the truth? It is verboten. In the clearest possible way. It is forbidden across the board. And during COVID, did we not learn how corrupt and feckless our public health authorities are? And Bobby Kennedy is a response to that. COVID was a massive wake-up call. And let's not lose the lead here. As you're watching Bobby Kennedy get grilled by senators right now, that is Bobby Kennedy's son. That is JFK's nephew. I want you to think about that. That is the ruling class of the Democrat Party that is now back to grill the Democrat Party that they no longer care about health. And when have they ever? And by the way, the left always likes to make it seem as if they're the small guy fighting up against the system, that they're fighting against the establishment. Bobby Kennedy is picking the largest and biggest possible fight, which is against entrenched pharmaceutical companies, Eli Lilly, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, the massive, gargantuan vaccine manufacturers. Hundreds of billions of dollars are on the line. And health jeopardizes their profits. The healthier America becomes, the less money they could potentially make. If we no longer have the belief system that you need a pill for every ill, then what's going to happen to Pfizer's stock? The old joke goes, I've been on antidepressants for 20 years. When are they going to start kicking in? At what point do we ask the question that maybe this medication that these doctors are unnecessarily feeding us, the vast majority of it is completely unnecessary? Where there might be naturopathic and alternative means. The CEOs of these big pharma companies have fiduciary responsibilities to their stockholders to earn profits. Their mission is not to help to make Americans healthy. Their goal is to print and make money. So when Bobby Kennedy says make America healthy, right now at Pfizer, they want you sick. And to be perfectly honest, I have yet to see a free market zealot. I would love to be able to grill a libertarian or Milton Friedman if he was alive on this topic. Because it really is a contradiction. If you have companies that they actually make more money over time, the sicker you are, how does that reconcile with free market forces? It's a very difficult question. There is not an easy solution to that, by the way. There is not an easy solution. Because the old adage is, oh, well, you imagine how much money people would make if there was a cure to cancer. Imagine if there was a way to not heal it, but keep you coming back for the next 10 years on your cancer. Well, then you become a nice little check for Big Pharma for the remainder of your life. And this all ties in with the trans executive order. Healthy workers and healthy people are a threat to this entire empire. The Democrats are being incredibly combative to Bobby Kennedy, remarkably so. Because they know what Bobby Kennedy represents. There's trillions of dollars of industry that want to stop Bobby Kennedy. Because God forbid your 4-year-old stops eating high fructose corn syrup and doesn't get every single vaccine, every single one, and goes outside a little bit more and starts supplementing with vitamin D. No, that is a threat to what they want. A sick and diseased population is one that is easier to control. A sick and diseased population is one that is more malleable, one that is in the palm of their hands. A sick and diseased population is one that makes them infinitely more profitable. When we are talking about a restoration of a free society, it takes healthy citizens for us to get to that free society. To get back to the promise of our founders, we've said for a while, strong alpha men are a threat to tyranny. but overweight men with beer bellies are not a threat to anybody. We know that the testosterone rates in the West are plummeting. Infertility is a major and massive issue. They are not going easy on Bobby Kennedy at all. Let's play cut 146. Let's get a little taste.
COVID-19 was a genetically engineered bioweapon that targets black and white people, but spared Ashkenazi Jews and Chinese people.
I didn't say it was deliberately targeted. I just quoted an NIH-funded and NIH published study.
Did you say that it targets black and white people but spared Ashkenazi Jews?
I quoted a study, Your Honor. I quoted an NIH study that showed that.
It was an NIH study. But man, they are going straight into the bottom of the barrel. And by the way, COVID did affect different people differently. That is science. And it's very, very slimy by Senator Bennett. Very slimy stuff. But that's what we expect from the Democrat Party. Good for you, Bobby. Fight back. We have your back 100%. This audience will not put up with anybody voting against you in the Republican Party.